If you can still climb stairs after 80 without reaching for the rail, most people will call that luck. I will not. I call it a signal. Here's what most people get wrong. The rail is not always about caution. Sometimes it is your body whispering that strength is thinning, balance is fading, and recovery is slowing down long before a diagnosis shows up on paper. Remember this number, 58. Stay with me until the end. Because that number could change how you think about aging, falling, and the habits you repeat every single day without a second thought. And yes, I am talking about an everyday habit. That automatic hand on the rail, the one you barely notice anymore. This is not a small issue. This is not about whether your knees feel a little stiff in the morning. This is about whether you can keep living in your own home, whether you can carry laundry upstairs, whether you can get out of a bathtub safely, whether you can walk into a grandchild's school, play without scanning the room for something to hold. Stair climbing is one of the clearest real-world tests of healthy aging because it asks so much from you at once. Leg strength, hip power, balance, nerve timing, vision, confidence, heart and lung reserve, even judgment. When that system starts to slip, it rarely slips all at once. First you slow down, then you hesitate, then you use the rail, just in case. Then one rushed day, or one dim hallway, or one missed step becomes a fall. And after a certain age, a fall is not just a fall. It can become the event that divides life into before and after. My name is your doctor for today, and I have spent more than 15 years caring for older adults, reading the research on healthy aging and helping patients hold on to something precious. Function, not perfect lab numbers, not youth. Function. I have treated thousands of patients with weakness, frailty, balance loss, poor nutrition, slow recovery, and the silent fear that comes when the body no longer feels trustworthy. I have also worked with peer-reviewed research and clinical guidelines for muscle health, fall prevention, sleep, and nutrition in older adults. And let me be clear, I am not here to sell you a supplement or scare you into a course. I am here to tell you, as plainly as I can, what protects your ability to move with confidence after 80. Later in this video, I'm going to show you the one item many people never connect to stair strength at all, and sleep. Not your mattress, not some expensive gadget, sleep itself. And the reason I want you to stay until the end is simple. The thing you blame on age may actually be the result of a few fixable habits working against each other. Before we go further, if you're watching this and you care about staying independent, subscribe and join this community. And I'd love to hear from you. Drop your age in the comments, or tell me how many stairs you can comfortably climb before you feel the need to slow down or grab the rail. I read every single comment. Truly, I read every single comment, and it helps me know what real people are facing outside the exam room. Before we get to the list, you need a simple map of what is happening inside you. There are 3 mechanisms I want you to keep in mind. First, muscle power. Not just muscle size. Power. That means how quickly your muscles can produce force. Think of your legs like the engine in a car. You do not just need an engine. You need an engine that responds when you press the pedal. Climbing stairs is not a slow squeeze. It is a quick push. Second, balance signaling. This is the conversation between your eyes, your inner ear, your feet, and your brain. Think of it like your body's built-in navigation system. If that signal gets fuzzy, your body reaches for the rail because it no longer fully trusts where it is in space. Third, recovery biology. This includes protein repair, vitamin status, sleep, inflammation, and daily activity. Think of your body like a house that needs constant maintenance. If the repair crew stops showing up, the stairs do not collapse in one day. They weaken board by board. Keep those three in mind: power, balance, recovery. Now let's count through what protects them. Number 1, lower body strength training. Here's what it does inside you. It rebuilds your engine. Strength training tells your muscles and nerves to fire together again. It doesn't just make your thighs bigger. It teaches the brain to recruit muscle fibers faster and more efficiently. Think of your leg muscles like a team of workers pulling a rope. With training, more workers grab on at the same time. The pull becomes stronger, quicker, smoother. A classic study published in the New England Journal of Medicine followed 100 frail nursing home residents with an average age over 87 for 10 weeks. The result? Muscle strength rose by 113% in the exercise group. Gait speed improved by nearly 12%, and stair climbing power improved by 28.4%. That is not a small number. Let that sink in. People in their late 80s, frail, in nursing homes, still trainable. If you ignore this, you do not just lose strength, you lose reserve. That means a bad night of sleep, a minor illness, or 1 week of sitting too much. Knocks you down harder than it should, so what should you do instead? Twice a week, train the muscles that actually get you up the stairs. Sit to stand from a sturdy chair. 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12. Step-ups on a low step while holding a wall or counter if needed. 2 sets of 6 to 10 per leg. Supported calf raises. 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 15. Wall sits or mini squats. 2 sets of 20 to 30 seconds. Move slowly down. Push firmly up. Rest between sets. If you have pain, severe arthritis, recent surgery, or heart symptoms, do this under professional guidance. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Louise. 82 years old, from Tulsa, she told me. Doctor, I'm not afraid of stairs. I just negotiate with them. I still remember the sound of her laugh, dry and sharp, like she was trying to make peace with something she did not trust. We started with 10 sit-to-stands from a dining chair. That was all. In the first week, she needed to rock forward to get momentum. By week 6, she could stand without that swing. By week 10, she told me the staircase in her split-level home felt less tall. That was her phrase. Less tall. Her first reaction had been embarrassment. Mine, honestly, was different. My first reaction wasn't fear. It was frustration. Because nobody had ever told her that weakness was trainable. Synergy tip. Pair strength training with your protein meal within 2 hours. I will explain why in a moment. Number 2. Enough protein. Spread across the day. Here's what it does inside you. It gives the repair crew raw materials. Your body is always breaking down and rebuilding muscle. After 80, the rebuilding side gets less responsive. Doctors call part of this anabolic resistance plain language. Your muscles become harder to impress. They need a clearer signal and better supplies. Think of your bloodstream like a river delivery system. If the boats carrying amino acids, the building blocks of protein, never arrive in enough quantity, the construction site slows down in the health, aging, and body composition study. Researchers followed 1,998 adults, aged 70 to 79. Those eating less than 0.7 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day had an 86% higher risk of developing mobility limitation over 6 years compared with those around 1 gram per kilogram per day. 86%. That is not a small number. If you ignore this, you may still eat enough calories and yet quietly lose function. A bowl of toast, jam, and tea is not muscle protection. So what should you do instead? Aim, in general, for roughly 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. Unless your own physician has told you otherwise, because of kidney disease or another condition, spread it out. Most older adults do better, with about 25 to 35 grams at each meal, rather than one giant serving at dinner. Easy examples. Breakfast, eggs plus Greek yogurt. Lunch, tuna, chicken, beans, or cottage cheese. Dinner, fish, turkey, tofu, lentils, lean beef, snack if needed, milk, yogurt, kefir, or a simple protein-rich snack. If you weigh around 150 pounds, that is about 68 kilos. A reasonable daily target might be 68 to 80 grams, divided across the day. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Daniel. 84 years old, from Columbus. He said he ate fine. When I asked what that meant, breakfast was coffee and toast. Lunch was soup. And dinner was whatever his daughter left in the fridge. Not starvation, but not enough protein to protect muscle. He started adding 2 eggs at breakfast, yogurt at lunch, and fish or beans at dinner. 8 weeks later, he did not look dramatically different, but he moved differently. He rose from the chair in one clean motion, instead of 2 attempts and a sigh. That is how progress often looks in real life. Quiet, useful, dignified synergy tip. Protein works better when you give the muscle a reason to use it. That means strength training, even simple chair work. Number 3, balance training, especially Tai Chi or controlled weight shifts. Here's what it does inside you. It sharpens your internal navigation. Balance is not magic, it is training. Your brain learns from repeated controlled shifts in position. Think of balance like the sensitivity setting on a radio. If it is poorly tuned, static takes over. Tai Chi, heel-to-toe work, and standing balance drills help clear that static so your feet and brain talk to each other faster. A multi-institutional trial reported by Stanford and published in JAM. Internal Medicine studied 670 adults, age 70 and older, who are at high risk of falling. Those assigned to Tai Chi had 58% fewer falls than the stretching group, and 31% fewer than a standard multimodal exercise group. Now you know why I told you to remember 58. That is not a small number. If you ignore balance training, strength alone may not save you. You can have decent legs and still misplace your center of gravity on a turn, a curb, or a dim staircase. So what should you do instead? 3 to 5 days a week, do 10 to 15 minutes of balance work. Stand with feet together near a counter for 20 to 30 seconds. Tandem stand, one foot partly in front of the other. Shift weight slowly side to side. Practice controlled turning, if available and safe. Take a beginner Tai Chi class, designed for older adults. Start with a hand hovering near support. Safety first, pride later. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Rosa, 79 years old from Phoenix. She did not describe herself as weak. She described herself as wobbly in doorways. That detail matters. She was not failing a gym test. She was losing confidence in ordinary transitions. We added a short Tai Chi video 3 mornings a week and simple counter-supported balance drills. After 2 months, she told me the kitchen felt wider. What changed was not the kitchen. It was her nervous system. She stopped bracing before every turn. Here's the part that should concern you most. Many people wait until after a fall to train balance. That is like buying smoke detectors after the fire. If this is helping you, subscribe now and share this with one person you love. That is not marketing. That is mission. Most appointments do not have enough time to cover this. Your doctor may care deeply and still only get a few minutes with you. This channel is where I try to give seniors the truth in plain English. If you share this video with a parent, spouse, sibling, or neighbor, you may be helping them protect years of independence. Number 4. Check and correct. Vitamin D deficiency. If you have it, here's what it does inside you. It supports the wiring and the grip of the system. Vitamin D is often talked about as a bone nutrient, and that is true. But here's what most people get wrong. Muscle cares about vitamin D too. When levels are low, muscles do not contract and recover as well. Think of vitamin D like a dimmer switch in a hallway. If the light is low, every step feels less certain. Researchers at Trinity College Dublin analyzed data from 4,157 adults over 60 in the English longitudinal study of aging among those with vitamin D deficiency. Muscle weakness was seen in 40.4%, compared with 21.6% in those with adequate levels. Poor physical performance was 25.2% versus 7.9%. Twice as much weakness. More than 3 times as much poor performance. If you ignore this, you may blame age for something that is partly measurable and treatable. So what should you do instead? Ask your physician whether you need a vitamin D blood test, especially if you rarely get sun, cover your skin, have osteoporosis, have had falls, or spend most of your time indoors. If you are deficient, correct it with your doctor's guidance. Not megadoses from the internet. Not random pills because a friend swears by them. Food sources can help too. Fatty fish, fortified dairy or plant milk, eggs. But if you are truly deficient, food alone may not be enough. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Harold, 81 years old, from Dayton. He told me his legs felt empty by afternoon. Not painful, empty. His labs showed low vitamin D, and he had been spending very little time outside after his wife died. We corrected the deficiency, added 2 short outdoor walks each day, and kept his leg exercises simple. 3 months later, he said the late-day heaviness had eased. Not vanished, eased. Sometimes that is the honest, meaningful win. Synergy tip. Vitamin D is not a substitute for exercise. It is support. Think of exercise as the signal, and vitamin D as part of the readiness to respond. Number 5. Daily walking with a purposeful pace. Here's what it does inside you. It keeps the engine from idling too low. Walking is not just cardio. It is circulation, coordination, joint lubrication, and repeated practice of moving your body weight through space. Think of walking like brushing your teeth for your mobility. One heroic workout does less for you than a habit repeated almost every day. In the Life Study, a major trial of 1,635 sedentary adults, ages 70 to 89, who are at risk of disability, a structured physical activity program, reduced major mobility disability by 18% compared with the health education group. In raw numbers, major mobility disability occurred in 30.1% of the activity group versus 35.5% of the comparison group. Over about 2.5 years, 18% may not sound dramatic until you realize what the outcome was. The loss of the ability to walk a basic distance independently. If you ignore daily movement, the body adapts to less. And the body is very efficient at that. Sit more, and it learns sitting. So what should you do instead? Start where you are. If you are sedentary, 10 minutes after breakfast and 10 minutes after dinner. Build toward 30 minutes most days. Include brief bursts of slightly faster walking, if safe, for 20 to 60 seconds at a time. If you have stairs at home and it is safe, practice 1 or 2 extra controlled flights. Not rushed, not carrying anything, just training. What matters is regularity, not drama. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Evelyn, 81 years old, from Des Moines. She had started arranging her whole day to avoid the upstairs. That is how decline often begins. Quiet workarounds. She did not call it fear. She called it being sensible. We started with hallway laps during television commercials. Then neighborhood walks with a neighbor. Then one deliberate stair practice after lunch with the rail available, but not always used. The first day she went upstairs carrying a folded sweater, instead of making 2 separate trips. She nearly cried telling me about it. That moment matters, not because of the sweater, because it meant trust was returning. Number 6. A Mediterranean-style plate and less ultra-processed food. Here's what it does inside you. It lowers friction in the system. When your meals are built mostly from fish, beans, olive oil, yogurt, fruit, vegetables, nuts, oats, potatoes, and other simple foods, you reduce inflammatory stress and improve the quality of the nutrients reaching muscle and nerve tissue. Think of your body like a set of hinges. Whole foods help the hinges move. Ultra-processed foods act more like grit in the joints. A meta-analysis discussed in the nutrition literature looked at 12 studies with 20,518 participants and found that higher adherence to a Mediterranean-style diet was associated with 58% lower odds of frailty and 25% lower odds of functional disability. Another large study of 63,743 women found that the highest intake of ultra-processed foods was linked to a 31% higher risk of frailty compared with the lowest intake. That is the pantry talking to the staircase. If you ignore food quality, you may still hit a calorie number while underfeeding the tissues that keep you steady. So what should you do instead? Build 1 plate at a time. Half the plate vegetables or fruit, a palm-sized protein, a smart starch like beans, potatoes, oats, or brown rice, olive oil, nuts, or avocado for healthy fat. And just as important, reduce the foods that arrive in shiny bags and boxes pretending to be meals. Sugary cereals, cookies and snack cakes, packaged pastries, frequent frozen ultra-processed dinners, chips as a daily staple. Notice I did not say never. I said less. Let me tell you about someone I'll call George, 83 years old, from Tampa. Every afternoon, he had crackers, processed meat, and 2 sweet cookies with coffee. Not much, he said. But that not much was daily. We swapped in yogurt with berries, a handful of nuts, and later, a bowl of bean soup a few days a week. Within 2 months, his energy in the late afternoon stopped crashing so hard. His wife told me, in a whisper, like it was classified information. He doesn't grip the banister like he used to. So what should you do instead? Eat for steadiness, not just satisfaction in the moment. Synergy tip. This pattern works best when it includes adequate protein. Whole foods plus protein. Plus movement is a very different biology than convenience food plus sitting. Number 7. Protect your sleep window. Here's what it does inside you. It gives the repair crew time to work. Sleep is when hormones, immune signals, memory, and tissue repair do some of their most important coordination. Poor sleep raises inflammation, dulls balance, slows reaction time, and makes exercise recovery weaker. Think of sleep like overnight maintenance on a bridge. Traffic may still cross the next day if the work crew skips a shift, but the structure pays for it. A recent analysis of 8,200 adults found a U-shaped relationship between sleep and sarcopenia, which means age-related muscle loss. The lowest risk was around 6.67 hours of sleep, and people sleeping about 6.5 to 7.5 hours had roughly 50% lower odds of sarcopenia than those sleeping less than 5 hours. That should wake people up. If you ignore sleep, you may keep trying to solve a recovery problem with coffee, sugar, or wishful thinking. So what should you do instead? Tonight, choose a regular sleep and wake time. Stop bright screens 1 hour before bed if you can. Keep the bedroom cool and dark. Avoid heavy alcohol close to bedtime. If you snore loudly, stop breathing at night or wake with headaches. Ask about sleep apnea. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Helen. 80 years old, from Reno. She said her legs felt oldest in the morning. Not at night. That got my attention. She was sleeping in fragments, dozing in a chair, and waking 5 times. Once we treated the sleep disruption and tightened her routine, the morning shakiness improved enough that she stopped planning her staircase trips around good hours. That is freedom. Small, ordinary, beautiful freedom. And this, remember, was the surprising item I promised. Stay with me until the end, because most people do not realize how often weak legs are partly tired legs. Let's bring it all together. Number 1 was lower body strength training. That rebuilds power, your engine, so each step can push your body upward instead of merely surviving gravity. Number 2 was protein spread across the day. That supports recovery, the raw material your muscles need if they are going to repair and hold on to function. Number 3 was balance training, especially Tai Chi or controlled weight shifts. That sharpens balance signaling, your body's inner navigation system. Number 4 was correcting vitamin D deficiency when it is present. That improves readiness in muscle and nerve function, so the system can respond better. Number 5 was daily walking with purpose. That keeps all 3 systems alive at once: power, balance, and recovery. Number 6 was a Mediterranean-style plate with fewer ultra-processed foods. That lowers the biological friction that feeds frailty and undercuts steady movement. Number 7 was sleep, because if the repair crew never gets a full shift, the whole structure weakens. So far we have covered muscle, nerve timing, nutrition, deficiency, activity, food quality, and sleep. Not magic, not youth in a bottle. Systems. That is how you keep climbing stairs. Here's what to do tonight and this week. 1. Tonight, test your baseline safely from a sturdy chair. See how many controlled sit-to-stands you can do in 30 seconds. Write it down. 2. Tomorrow morning, add protein to breakfast. Eggs, yogurt, cottage cheese, or another simple option. 3. This week, do 2 lower body strength sessions. Even 15 to 20 minutes counts. 4. 3 times this week. Practice 10 minutes of balance work near a counter. Or begin a senior-friendly Tai Chi routine. 5. Every day this week. Walk at least 10 to 20 minutes. And if safe, add a few brief faster intervals. 6. At your next medical visit, ask whether you should be checked for vitamin D deficiency, medication side effects, sleep apnea, or other causes of weakness and dizziness. 7. This week in the kitchen, replace one ultra-processed snack with a whole food option you can repeat easily. 8. Starting tonight, protect your sleep window. Same bedtime, same wake time. Let your body know when repair begins. Do not try to change everything in one day. Choose 3. Repeat them until they feel ordinary. I want to leave you with something deeper than a checklist. The goal is not to become 25 again. The goal is to remain yourself, to keep carrying your own groceries, to stand at the stove without feeling your legs give up, to walk upstairs and come back down without that private little negotiation in your head, to remember your grandchild's name and also be steady enough to kneel down for a hug, to laugh at dinner instead of wondering whether your body is becoming a burden. Aging is real. I will never insult you by pretending otherwise. But decline is not one solid block. It has moving parts, and many of those parts still respond when you speak the body's language clearly enough. Challenge, fuel, balance, rest, repeat. If you can still climb stairs without holding the rail after 80, you may be rare, but rarity is not the same as mystery. It is built. One meal, one walk, one training session, one better night of sleep, one safer step at a time. And if you are not there yet, hear me on this. It is never too late. If this kind of honest, practical guidance helps you, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss the next video. And in the comments, tell me this. What is the first change you are going to make after watching today? More protein? A walking habit? Chair stands? Better sleep? I read every single comment, and I want to know where you are starting.